What is up, Tooligans? It's your boy 2Times here at Pro Tools Approved, and we're going to do a rundown of the METABO HPT nailers. To get right into it, and start with the 23 gauge pin nailer. This is model NP18DSAL. This has a dry fire lockout. It uses 5/8 to 1 3/8 pins. I've found it to be a little finicky with different brand pins. It works best with METABO brand pins. Why I like this so much more than the red one is it's a pressure tip to fire it. The red guy has that double trigger, the safety trigger and the fire trigger. You get on a roll, not paying attention, you've got that safety trigger down. Next thing you know is pop, pop, you've got two pins in the face. Don't ask me how I know that, because it's a little embarrassing. But the METABO, you can't do that unless you're pushed against the tip to fire something. There is a belt hook, there is an LED light. It doesn't have an on-off button like the others. When there's pressure on the tip, you can fire it. It's that simple. Oh, must be out of pins. Or a dying battery. You can see the pin here wanting to move, and that won't fire unless this stays put, pressure on it when you pull the trigger. On to the narrow crown stapler. Narrow crown stapler is N1804DA. This does not have a dry fire lockout on it. It's a little easier to see when you're working because of the staples on the side are external. Uses 1/2 inch to 1 1/2 inch, 1/4 inch narrow crowns. It does have the quick release up top here. If you happen to get a jam, pops right up. Opens right up, so you can get your jam out, slide that back over and snap it down. You're good to go. Has a lockout button. If you slide this up, you won't be able to pull the trigger and fire. If you throw it in your work bag, maybe. It does have single fire and bump fire mode. I'll be showing you these, firing some shots after the rundown. Next, on to the 18 gauge brad nailer, the compact brad nailer. This is the NT1850DF. Uses 5/8 to 2 inch brads. No dry fire lockout on this. It's really a shame that it doesn't have it. It would make this gun close to perfect. Would make this pew pew close to perfect. I'm going to try not to use that word because, well, of YouTube's algorithms. It does have the quick release up top here. If you have a jam, the same way. Has single shot and bump fire, lockout switch. As you're getting close to running out of brads, See that yellow in the window there? That will appear to warn you you're getting close to being out of brads. One other neat little feature on this is it has a little extra soft tip storage back here in case you lose yours or you want different sizes. The 16 gauge straight nailer is the NT1865DMS. This does have a dry fire lockout system. It goes from a belt clamp to a smaller rafter hook. Same single fire or rapid bump fire lockout switch. Same quick release to get a jam out. Just the jam. Comes with a nice big soft tip, and it does come with a second one. I've already lost that. It comes with one right here, storage, so you don't have to go back to the truck and find one if you lose it. The 15 gauge angle nailer, the NT1865DMA. This also has a dry fire lockout. Uses 1 1/4 inch to 2 1/2 inch angled nails. What's nice is you can get galvanized nails for these from METABO. They're fantastic. Also has single fire and bump fire lockout switch, and as well has the quick release up top here. The quick release up top here. If you happen to get a jam, this is one of my favorite nailers. I tend to reach for this almost all the time. And last but not least, the 21 degree framer. This comes with a gigantic rafter hook on the back. This does have a dry fire lockout as well. I can't really hold this in any good position. Single fire and the bump fire. More than enough power to sink some big nails in the hard wood. Uses 2 inch to 3 1/2 inch and has a 36 nail capacity. Let's go shoot some nails. Alrighty, don't hold it against me again for not saying the pew pew word, but you know, YouTube and the algorithm. So let's start with the 21 degree framing nailer. We'll fire a couple shots in here. They turn on in the center, and we'll fire a couple single shots and then bump fire. Change to bump fire. It's a 21 degree plastic collated framing nailer. Now that does have a dry fire lockout. Onto the 15 gauge nailer, which also has a dry fire lockout. That soft tip on there. It's nice as you get these with galvanized nails. Fast as I can fire, it keeps up with it. The 16 gauge, which also has a dry fire lockout, the straight nailer. Plenty of power. Those three have rafter hooks on them onto the 18 gauge brad nailer, which does not have a dry fire nailer. It has a little indicator to tell you you're running close, but you've got to pay attention to it. That's about the only feature on this I don't like. The 18 gauge. The narrow crown stapler, which also does not have a dry fire lockout, but you can see a little bit easier with the external staples on it. I'll come back to the 18 gauge nailer and show the indicator that you're low on brads. Belt hooks on both of these. On the brad nailer, as you go down in brads, this little yellow indicator here will pop into the screen as you're getting short. So you've got to keep an eye on it up here as you're nailing. And the 23 gauge pin nailer. Well, other than hitting a knot right here, everything's sunk down. Hit a knot with this nail, hit a knot right here. Everything's sunk down deep, except knots right here. And big old knot right here. They are plenty powerful. These are the nailers you should be using as a pro.